Welcome back to our final video where we're going to talk about editing that listing now that we've generated the MLS number. So let's get started. Okay, so to edit the listing, you have two options. The first option is to go to the input section and then go back to input. And then from here, you're going to either be able to click edit existing listings or click from this drop down and pull up the listing that way. So that's option one on how you can go in to edit your listing. The other option, option two, is to go to My Matrix, go to My Listings, and then you'll be able to see under the Show My Editable Listings, any listing that you can edit. And as we can see, this is that incoming listing right there. All we have to do is select it, and we'll get to that same option to go in and edit the listing that way. So those are the two different options that you'll have to pull up the listing. From there, you can go in, and if you want to edit the information for the property, you're just going to click on the property type, and then you're going to get that input toolbar for you to go in and add your information or update that information as needed. The next thing we're going to do is go in and add our photos to our listing. So under the Other Options section, we can click on that Manage Photos option. And then here, we're going to be able to upload our photos. Please notice up here, we do have the rules of how you can add multiple photos and the dimensions. They need to be both the maximum quality for upload and the minimum quality for photo upload. So if you are relisting this property, you can use this click here to import photos from another listing option. If you click on that option, all you have to do is type in that MLS number from your old listing and import those photos in. So that's going to allow you to save some time with pulling those photos. Please remember though, these do have to be your photos that you used. The other option here is you can browse from your computer. So what I recommend, have a file already created with the 25 photos that you're going to use for your listing. Click on that browse option. And then when you open up your folder, you're going to be able to add in the information that you need. So in this example, I have all of these photos that I want to add. I can highlight them all, and then I can click open. And then what that's going to do is it's going to upload all of those photos into the system for me. As you'll notice, one of these photos does have a red dotted line around it. What that's telling you is the photos below are lower than the recommended minimum. So that means that that photo might come out in the MLS significantly smaller than the tile that, that's displayed in Matrix. So how you can test this yourself is by clicking on the photo, and you can see how big that photo is going to appear, right? Sometimes these photos could appear just as small as this computer screen instead of taking up the whole space. So that's where that information is going to be important. If you click on it and it looks like it's normal, it looks like the quality of the photo is good, you can leave it as is. And then from there, you can choose to start clicking and dragging things around. So as we can see, this one says primary slot. That means that's going to be the primary photo of the listing. Remember, the primary photo of your listing should be of the subject property so that people know what this property might look like. So I'm going to go ahead and move one of these photos. Let's say this is the primary photo that I want to use. I'm going to click and I'm going to drag it up to the primary slot, and it's going to push all of those other photos down. The next thing I want to show you here is that you are able to enter a description. So one of the important things here, if you do have a photo that has been digitally enhanced, all you have to do is add in enhanced into the photo description, and that is going to signify to the system that you do have enhanced photos. It's going to add that enhanced photo watermark for you. And then of course, in any of these other photos, you're able to add descriptions. So maybe this is the primary bathroom. And you guys can add any type of marketing speech that you need. But once you have all of this information set up as desired, all you have to do is click certify and save. The next thing we're going to do here is we're going to go in and manage supplements. So by clicking on that Manage Supplements option, this is where I can choose and add PDF files. So they must be PDF files, up to 10 maximum. and no larger than 5 megabytes. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to select a file from your computer. So I'm going to click that choose file option. And then I'm going to choose the class or the file that I want to use. Maybe I want to go in and add a floor plan. So I'm going to select that file, and then I'm going to add a description for myself. So we'll say floor plan. And then we can say what type of supplement this is. I'll say other, and then I'm going to upload it into the system. And then we're going to be able to see that document right there. If I want to add another file, all I have to do again, choose file. Let's say this time we're going to go in and add an addendum. So I'm going to click that option. It's going to add it into the file upload section. And then I can say addendum. Again, I'm going to choose what type of file it is. I'm going to upload it. And now we see those two different files in the system here. And we can move these up and down as needed if there's a specific order that you want these supplements to appear in, right? So addendum 1 is at the bottom right now. I'm going to click move up, and that's going to move the addendum up to the top. For me to save this information, I'm going to click that save button, and then those addendums will be added to my listing. And as you can see, we already have those photos loaded in. If you are utilizing a High Central MLS lockbox or a Central Lock lockbox, all you have to do is assign a lockbox. Click that button, say whether you have a lockbox, and then go in and add the lockbox serial number into the system. All right, and we are almost ready to activate this listing. What we're going to do next is we're going to go to the Manage Showing Time option. What this is going to do is it's going to take us over to the Showing Time platform and allow us, as you can see, select another listing to manage. We're currently managing the 999 Wilder Ave listing. This is where it's going to allow us to manage the settings here. So do you want showing agents to request appointments online? Yes or no? This is going to either allow the agents to book using ShowingTime via the MLS or not. If you say no, you're going to be able to choose whether you want agents to be able to request virtual appointments. And then you're able to input showing instructions and restrictions as needed. So the things like appointment type. What type of appointment do you want people to book? Appointment required, courtesy call, or go and show, or view instructions only. And as you can see, the ShowingTime platform does give you an idea of what each of these appointment types means so that you can choose the best option for you. Is this a listing agent encompassing show aid? You can say yes or no. You can put your contact details here. If you want to put the homeowner, you can do that as well. Or a co-listing agent, you can go in and add their information there. If you want to add in appointment restrictions, such as what's the advance notice that needs to be given, right? Are people able to book same-day appointments or not? Where this is going to help you save time is if you don't want people booking same-day appointments, you can already just block off that availability when they go to see the availability for this listing. And of course, you can put how much time is going to be in between, but the suggested is 1 hour. You can put a maximum appointment length in there. Are you going to allow scheduling overlaps? Do you want there to be buffer time, right? So especially during COVID, this was huge so that you would have cleaning time, right? And the benefit of that is that you're not telling people, sorry, I booked this appointment at 2 o'clock. I know that the calendar says that I have 2 o'clock available. However, this person's in there from 1 o'clock to 2. So you're going to be able to say, you know what, give me that 30-minute buffer time. That means from 2 to 2:30, it will say not available. And then the next available appointment will be that 2:30 to 3:30 time slot. So that's what that buffer time option gives you. And then the add a new showing restriction section is, let's say, every Wednesday, for whatever reason, you cannot show the property. That's where you can add this in so that agents can't even see that as an option to book. So it's going to save you that back and forth time, which is great because you're not having to reply to agents to say, sorry, Wednesday's not available. The other information that you can add into the system ahead of time is access information, right? So if there's a gate code, you can go in and plug in the gate code. Is this information on how they can access the home? You can throw that information in there. Do you want to give alarm details, right? If there's an alarm that's set on the property, you can put the alarm code, disarm code, and then the alarm code for the agent to go in and input That way, again, once they've accepted it, you've got all that information in there for them. So you're not having to keep copying and pasting that information over and over again. Same with showing instructions to get there, right? If there's a specific parking stall that someone's supposed to park in, you can add that information here, right? Please park in stall A, or something along those lines. Again, just less information that you're having to do yourself, and you're enabling the system to automate this for you. If there's driving instructions you need to add, you can add all of that in. Once you're done, you're able to save those changes, and then moving forward, all of that information is going to be saved in the system for you for agents that are looking to book an appointment. And the final thing we're going to do before we take this listing active is we're going to go in and add in some open houses. So under the select form section, I'm going to go to manage open houses. And in this section here, I'm going to go in and be able to select what type of open house I'm going to add in. And again, the yellow sections are the required fields, right? So I can choose between a public open house, a broker's open house, or any of these other options. So maybe for this one, I'm going to say, give me a public open house. I'm going to schedule that for this upcoming Sunday. And I am going to put the start time as 2 p.m. and end time as 5 p.m. Active is going to signify to you or it's going to signify to Matrix that you do want this open house visible in the MLS and visible on the open house report that's run every Friday. So if you select yes, that's going to show up on that 3 p.m. report. And then you can add your comments in here and your refreshments. If you want to add a broker's open house, you're going to do that by clicking on the more section. So it's allowing you to add the next one. You can say broker's open. You can choose the correct date and time with this. So what I highly recommend you doing is opening up the broker's open schedule to determine what the correct date and time is for your listing. So where can you find the broker's open schedule? The broker's open schedule can be found under the members.highcentral.com website, and then under the MLS forms and docs section. If you go there and you scroll down to the bottom, you're going to see the broker's open schedule document right there that you can download. And from there, you click here to open as a PDF document. You're going to be able to see the different areas of the island, as well as the different regions that this island has. So in our example, I believe our listing is in the 96706 zip code, which would fall under, let's see here, that Leeward Oahu Regional District West. So once we see that and we scroll up here to the top, we're looking for Leeward West. So they're the first and third Wednesdays from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. So with that in mind, I'm going to go back to Matrix. We're going to say first and third Wednesday of every month. So first Wednesday has already passed. 1, 2, 3. Third Wednesday of every month. And I believe it was 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And we're going to select active, and we're going to submit that information. So as we can see, those open houses have been added to the listing. Now let's say you need to postpone one of your scheduled open houses. You're going to go to this continue editing section, or you're going to go back into manage open houses. And instead of just deleting this open house, what you're going to do instead is you're going to change this from active yes to no. What that's going to do is it's going to remove it from visibility in the open house report. If you just delete it, it's not going to deactivate the open house. People are still going to be able to see it online, but now you're not going to have the ability to go in and edit the open house event. So make sure you just change it to active no, submit the listing, and then from there you can go back in and delete it. However, if you're just postponing it, I would recommend just changing it to no, and then when you're ready to go back in and reschedule it, since you've already got all that information plugged in, you're going to continue editing, and you're going to go in and just change it to yes, and then change the date on the next broker's open. And you would just do something like that, and you would submit the listing and save that information. Now that we've added our photos, our supplements, our lockbox information, we've set up our showing time instructions, and we've added in our open houses. If you want to double check everything one more time before taking it active, you can see what it's going to look like by clicking on the MLS number. What that's going to do is pull up all of the information for you so you can double check, make sure everything looks correct. We didn't add all the information in when we went in and input this listing, so clearly I don't have all that information there, but you guys will. This is where you'll be able to double check your information before taking this listing active. Once you've activated your listing, this is where you're going to be able to go in and change the status of your listing. So once you've activated it to active, you'll have change to active under contract, change to hold, change to canceled, change to pending, change to sold. So when you click into this, it's going to ask you for that contract acceptance date. Please remember that you must change your active listing to active under contract or pending within 4 calendar days of the contract acceptance date. Otherwise, you will be considered submitting late, which will then result in an MLS violation. So keep that in mind. Also, double check to make sure that you have the correct MLS number as well as the listing address for the property so that you're not changing the wrong listing and recording an incorrect status change for a different property. You would be surprised at how many times it happens. So some of the other options here, active under contract is going to be the same as pending. If you wanted to change to hold, you're going to click that option and temporarily remove it from the market. This is where you're going to be able to do that. Again, double check the information, make sure you are changing the status on the correct listing. And then the final option, change to sold. This is where you're going to add in all the closing information. And again, 4 calendar days from the close date of the listing. So add that information in, add the close price in, and add in all of this additional information here. Same way that you would add in the listing agent or co-listing agent information, that's how you guys can go in and find the buyer's agent. So if it's a non-MLS member, what's that code? 99988. Click the refresh button to pull up the information for that agent. And please, once you submit this listing as sold, you're not going to have access to edit the listing. So double check that you are submitting the correct property, the correct close price, and any correct agent information or seller's remarks that you need to be adding to this listing. Because after that, you are going to need to get MLS staff involvement in order to edit the listing moving forward. And that's how you finalize editing your listing to take it active. Hopefully this video was helpful and all of the past new agent videos as well. Thank you so much for joining us on this new agent journey. Hopefully you are ready to go and start your realtor journey. I hope you found a lot of value in these videos and thank you so much. Bye guys.